Hey, Kingdom Scribes, Kingdom Authors, Kingdom Writers. Welcome back to the Author's Corner, where we equip Kingdom Scribes to write with purpose, publish with excellence, and leave a mark that outlives them. Okay. I'm your host, Tiffany Diller. For those that don't know or are new to the podcast, I am your favorite writing and book publishing coach. And today we're going to dive into something powerful. We're going to talk about how to secure your book as a legacy for the next generation. Because here's the truth, your book is bigger than you. It's not just words on a paper. It's a spiritual deposit, a life lesson, a God-given assignment meant to outlive your name. So I want you to go get everything that you need to help you to stay engaged with this episode. So go get your favorite snack, drink, your notebook, your favorite pen, whatever you need, and then come back so that we can talk about how to secure your book as a legacy for the next generation. All right, welcome back, Kingdom Scribes. So let's get into the topic. So first point we're going to talk about is write with the future in mind. So we're going to start with getting our minds together. So write like someone will be reading this 50 years from now. Put it in your mind that what you're writing, what you're creating is going to outlive you. That 50 years from now, somebody is still going to be reading your book. Somebody is still going to be utilizing your journal. Somebody is still going to be educating others through the curriculum book that you created, a workbook that you created. Somebody is still going to be walking people through your story and teaching others how you overcame and how they can continue to overcome. You know, your book is going to outlive you. So let's get that in our heads. Let that be a permanent thought in your mind, that my book is going to outlive me. 50 years from now, somebody is still going to be reading Marriage Conversation with God. Somebody is still going to be purchasing this Kingdom Scribe kit. Somebody is still going to be reading Destiny and Lila's Big Book Adventure to their children. Somebody is still going to be reading The Reflection of Me. And those are all of the things that I've created. So I want you to say that right now about your book. And if you're maybe saying, well, I haven't written it yet, still say it, because it's going to get done. As long as you connected to New Voice Books, you're going to get that thing done. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and say that out loud out of your mouth, that my book and my products will be used and read 50 years from now. Everything that I create will outlive me, will continue to bless the next generation. I want you to think about this question. What do you want your children, your community, or future leaders and readers to know about faith, healing, business, or whatever God gave you to write about? What do you want them to know about? What do you want them to know about when it comes to faith? What do you want them to know about when it comes to healing? What do you want them to know about when it comes to business? Whatever God has given you, what is it that you want them to know about? And that's for those that are getting started. But it's also for those that have already written a book. What is it about your book that you can talk about that can continue to create conversation long after you've gone? Because you started the narrative, you started the conversation with your book. So what is it that people can continue to talk about long after you're gone? And you may say, well, how does that show up now? It shows up now that people are quoting Martin Luther King Jr. and he's passed on. People are quoting Maya Angelou and she's passed on. There are a lot of authors that have written books that have literature in the earth and that people are still quoting people are still applying to their lives, even today. And these people are passed on, long passed on. So if the power of their words are still being used and resonating with this generation, and it's now going to the next generation, then how much more do you think your book will affect the earth? Because what I say to you guys, I say that what we do is going to change the world. It's going to change lives in the world. So that means that if it's going to change lives in the world, it's not just going to change lives during the time that you're still here to see it. It's going to continue to change lives even after you're gone. And I know. Some people say, well, I don't want to really just talk about that, about me being gone. Well, it's a part of the cycle of life. So at some point, it's going to happen. But let's go ahead and prepare our hearts and minds to be legacy builders so that the next generation can have something that has helped multiple generations throughout our lives. Okay? So, for those that are starting out and for those that will write again, writing with legacy in mind shifts your tone, your storytelling, and your purpose. You stop writing just for sales, and you start writing for souls. You start writing for purpose. You start writing for transformation. You start writing to truly help someone be educated on finances, be educated on business, be educated on how to be a great communicator and speaker. You really take inventory in your mind on the people that will be reading your book, and you write for them. You stop thinking about the sales, and not saying that thinking about the sales is bad, because it's not. But that's not your focus. Is let me write this book so I can start making some money. Let me write this book so I can, I can increase my income. No, you're going to be like, let me write this book so the next generation won't be in debt when it comes to credit. They can know how to build a business and really understand the scripture where it says that God gives us the power to generate wealth. They will know how to do that. They will know how to create digital products. Like I want people to continue to be listening and watching the Author's Corner podcast long after I'm gone, still learning about book publishing, still being encouraged to do what God has called them to do. Anything that they need that God is giving me to pour out now, I still want them to be able to pull it from the archives. And we can't say that it doesn't happen, because it's a lot of times where I see on YouTube where a lot of pastors that have passed on, and people are bringing back and reintroducing this generation to preachers and pastors and evangelists and prophets and just people that have passed on, and they're talking about their information. They're sharing the recordings, they're sharing the information that they provided back then now, and it's relevant now. It may have been more relevant now than then. So we still have to do what we need to do. So I'm gonna say that one more time. Writing with legacy in mind shifts your tone, your storytelling, and your purpose. It shifts it. It's no longer on, well, what if they like it? What if they don't like it? What if they don't like me? What if they, don't understand? You're not worried about that. You're focusing on what God told you to do. You're focusing on reaching the souls that God told you to reach. And you may say, well, souls, I'm just writing about finances. Do you not know how freedom can come with a mindset shift in somebody's mind from lack and poverty to abundance and overflow and prosperity? Like, that breaks chains. And that could break chains that have been that has been having a whole family wrapped up in chains for generations. And somebody gets your book and somebody just gets it. Somebody begins to understand. God is helping them to comprehend and retain and receive the knowledge that you are putting in your book. And they start to understand that they don't need to chase after money. They start to understand that they don't have to bow to Mammoth, that they can come out of agreement with Mammoth. And if you're like, what's Mammoth? Just go in the Bible, search some scriptures, Google it, and you'll find a scripture on it. Okay. But they realize that they don't have to wake up and all they're doing is just paying bills, that they have no purpose in life, that they can't travel the world, they can't live, they're just surviving. That is a breakthrough for someone. That is deliverance for someone, all by you educating them on how to manage their credit. I keep telling y'all that everybody ain't gonna be on the stage preaching and saying God said and he gonna make a way. No, they're gonna get set free and delivered in the pages from the pages of your book. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're going to get set free by reading the pages in your book. That's what you were called to do, preacher. That's what you were called to do, evangelist. That's what you were called to do, apostle, teacher, prophet. That's what you were called to do. And all of that is being done through you as an author. Okay? So get it out your head that you are not a legacy builder. And that right there just gave me an idea. So yeah, I think I'm gonna create something for that. But get it out your head that you're not a legacy builder. Understand that you are a legacy builder. And even if you have to say it to yourself over and over again, I am a legacy builder. What I do will build a legacy. What I do will leave a legacy. What I do will remain in the earth. And not only help the generation that I am currently active in, but it will continue to help future generations. That I am leaving an inheritance for my children's children in the earth. You was trying to figure out how you can leave an inheritance? Well, here it is. You're leaving an inheritance. Okay? You're leaving an inheritance. Let me scoot over some, y'all. Okay. So the next point we're going to talk about is make it legally yours. Because we ain't trying to be out here trying to build legacies and then none of the stuff belongs to us because we have not secured it to make it legally ours. Okay. So let me sip on a little water. So once your manuscript is complete, secure it. Register your copyright. Get your ISBN number. File with the Library of Congress. So you want to register your copyright and you're going to register that with the Library of Congress. So you're going to submit the application to the Library of Congress and get that registered with the Library of Congress. You also need to make sure you have a copyright notice in your book. So don't think, well, I'm going to register with the Library of Congress. I don't need to put that page in there. You do. It's a requirement. It's a book industry standard requirement. So make sure that your copyright notice is in your book. Make sure you get your ISBN number if you're doing global distribution. And if you want to learn more about global distribution, you can go to, I believe, last season or the season before that. And I have a video talking about global distribution. So that way you can have that, but make sure you have your ISBN number. And that is the number that you know how when you look at a book on the back of it, it has that barcode and has those numbers at the bottom. That is what you have to have when you are selling your book in stores. And we're going into stores. Hold on. Let me get back to that. We are going into stores. We are going into stores. I got my hand up because I'm receiving it as well. We are going into stores. We will not just be on our own websites or on Amazon. We will be on bookshelves such as Walmart and wherever books are sold. That's where we're going to be. Okay. So, make sure you have that, because that is what identifies your book. So when they scan your book, that's where all of your information is pertaining to that book. So you need that barcode to be able to sell it abroad. And then again, register your book with the Library of Congress. You need that extra layer of copyright protection on your book because of the laws that have changed. There's another episode that I have talked about copyright and making sure that gets done properly. So go back and check out those videos as well too. And then these steps are not just red tape. They are the legal locks on the legacy you are building. You want your work protected. Your name is attached and your family empowered to maintain ownership. So you want your work protected because your name is attached. And then it empowers your family to maintain ownership. So it gives them legal right to your book. So no one can come and say, oh no, this belongs to me. No, it doesn't. Because that's my mother, that's my grandmother, that's my auntie, cousin, whomever. You want them to be empowered to say, no, this belongs to us. This is a legacy that was created and built for us, and we will continue to pass it down. So make sure that you put those legal locks on your book. And I'm going to repeat it again because I hear somebody saying, can you repeat that one more time? I wasn't really paying attention. I was being distracted. Okay, I'll repeat it one more time for you. So you want to register your copyright. And by registering your copyright, you want to make sure that your book is filed with the Library of Congress. And you also want to make sure that you have your ISBN number. Make sure inside of your book that you have the copyright notice page. That is the first lock on your book. And then the second lock is you registering with the Library of Congress. And then the third lock is getting an ISBN number for your book. And if you are doing global distribution, it's a requirement. So you really can't skip it. It's not an option. You have to have an ISBN number if you're going to sell on platforms like Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and other bookstore online stores. You're going to have that. That's not something you can skip over. And then by doing that, you have protected your work because your name is attached to it. And you have also given the key to your family to be empowered to maintain ownership of your project. And I say project because there may be different things that you do. So you are giving them the keys of ownership, the certificate of ownership when it comes to your manuscript, when it comes to your books, to your journals, to whatever you're creating, you're giving them ownership. And if it's things that you need to trademark, invest in trademarking. Okay. I did. God told me probably 5 years ago to do a trademark on New Voice Books, our logo, our colors, all of the things. And I went ahead and invested in that. At first, I was like, why am I doing this? Because nobody really even knows about New Voice Books. So why am I even doing this at this point? But God said, do it and do it now. And, he didn't go all into details, but he was letting me know, do it and do it now. You don't know what's to come. Prepare now. And I did that. And there are other stuff that I want to trademark that, that belongs to New Voice Books. But I'm protecting everything that God has had me to create because it is a legacy that I'm passing down to my children. Whether or not they operate in this space or not, they can still reap from the legacy that I built. Even if somebody else is running new voice books at that time, they can still reap from what I built and what I created. Okay? So the next point is plan beyond your lifetime. Have you thought about who owns the rights to your book if something happens to you? Now, come on, people. Let's get over the fact that, oh, I don't want to talk about me not being here. Let's get over that. Okay? Let's get over that right now. So, answer the question. Have you thought about who owns the rights to your book if something happens to you? That's legacy thinking. So, we're going to elevate our thoughts on today. That's legacy thinking. When we think about the future, when we think about, well, how will my book be handled when I'm gone? Who will have rights to my book if something happens to me? Let's elevate our mind and let's be legacy thinkers. Include your intellectual property in your will. So when you're doing a will, include your intellectual property in your will. That is part of what you are passing down to the next generation. Assign your literary rights to a loved one or trusted organization. Go ahead and pick that person that you know you can trust to pass down your stuff to, your book projects to. Or if you feel like, nah, honey, I can't leave this to them. No, I can't leave it to them. Hey, and for whatever reason, then Google and search a trusted organization that you can look into and inquire into to see if that organization will be a trusted place where you will want to have them to have literary rights over your book projects. Let's go ahead and prepare now. Now, I'm not saying you finna pass away next week. I'm just saying let's prepare now and have things in order. I would rather be prepared now than turn around and not be prepared, and then your stuff is just all haywire. Somebody getting it that don't care nothing about it. Even if that's not what they're doing, they still have some form of respect. But now your stuff is in the hands of people that don't even care nothing about it, and they probably boxed it up and threw it to the side and said, "Oh, okay, she gone, he gone, whatever." And everything that you work for is in a box in somebody's garage, a shed, or storage house, or in the trash. You don't want that. You work too hard for it. So let's prepare. Let's prepare. So assigning your literary rights to a loved one or an organization that ensures your book keeps blessing lives long after you're gone, because they're going to continue to be your hands and feet in the earth and continue to promote your book, continue to share your book with others who may reach out and say, hey, I heard about this author and I want to do like a documentary or something, or he or she, whatever the request may be, they can gauge and help your words stay alive. They can continue to help your book project to stay alive because you were prepared and you put everything in the right in the right hands with the right person or the right organization. Okay. So again, we are now at this point, we are legacy thinkers. So we're considering our legacy as we plan out our lives. So we're not going to be day-to-day people. Nothing wrong with being day-to-day people, but we're going to think for the long haul. Okay. So you want to diversify the format. That's point 4. So future generations may not flip through physical books like we do, because you have some people now, they want a ebook. Some people want to do have the physical copy in their hand. And if you're a person like me, I like the audiobooks. So record an audiobook. Next point. So record an audiobook, because I'm a person now that loves audiobooks. And then you have to think about your kids, think about your nieces and nephews, think about your grandchildren. They're on their tablets, they're on whatever phone they have. And you may have a few that may want hard copies now, but you have to think about, as the world changes, as um each generation kind of goes more and more and more and more towards technology, there's going to be a point to where everything is going to be electronic. Um and everything is going to be, on a computer or on a phone. There may be rarely some things that are still paper, because people are trying to get rid of paper now. So record an audiobook. And that's something that I'm looking to offer with New Voice Books as a service. So I'm still doing research on that to kind of learn from others that are using it and are offering that as a service, to kind of see how their clients and customers are liking the audiobook platforms that they're using. So that way I can share that with you on how to do it if you want to do it for yourself. And then that's something that we will be offering in the near future. I really want to kind of start offering that within 2026. So I'm trying to narrow down like the platforms that I can use, because I really want to test it out for myself. And then if it's good, then it's a go. And then I want to move forward to share that information with you. But if you're saying like, hey, I'm already there, then record an audiobook, publish an ebook, create digital products. Those digital products will last long. Those digital products will be convenient, because they can go on your website, they can go on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, they can go wherever your book is sold, and you have an ebook or you have an audiobook, and they can download it. That's convenient. Now, y'all know we like to cut some time. We like to, do things that are convenient for us. And so that's convenient for you to have those different digital products. You can take your book and you can break it down into a little e-course, little mini course, and different walk people through each chapter of your book, but breaking it down as a lesson, so that way they can learn the lesson that you are teaching and sharing within that book. So, host video readings and podcast episodes that walk people through your message. Digital products. And we have an episode pertaining to digital products. So these are digital products that you can create now that will continue to live on after you're gone. Make your story accessible, however they choose to receive it, whether they choose it for audiobook, whether they choose it for ebook, whether they listen to your video readings, whether they come on and watch a podcast 5, 10, 50, 20, 30 years from now. They have the access to it now, and they can just download it and they can receive all that you have to give, and they can move forward. And it can still be just as relevant when you did it as when they are hearing it and listening to it or attending. They can see the comments, whatever it is. Just create the digital product, so that way there's another option, another access point to your book. And it's not just the physical copy. Now, have physical copies by all means. Don't shut that down and just move to everything digital. You want to have options, okay? You want to have options. So let's have more than one option. So next, I want you to be authentically you. Be you. You don't create legacy by being perfect. You create it by being honest. Now, when I come on this podcast is helping me when it comes to speaking and communicating better. Slowing down, being mindful of my words, being mindful of thoughts coming through my mind of what I need to say next and how I need to say it, so that I am clear on what I'm saying, and then it's clear to you that you're receiving and understanding what I'm saying. Because at first I was one that and I just be gone, and especially if I'm excited about something and passionate about something, I'm just hyped up. And not saying that I'm not excited and not passionate about what I'm doing on the Author's Corner podcast, because I am, y'all. Sometimes my heart be over here just jumping for joy because I am in season 4 and I can't believe that I'm still doing this. I can't believe that I'm even on YouTube. We have 18 subscribers. And you may say, 18, that's it. I am thankful for those 18 subscribers. I give you a round of applause. Thank you for your support and your love. Thank you for taking the time to subscribe, because you could have just came over here and looked at the content and never subscribed. But I thank you, Kingdom Scribe subscribers. I appreciate you. Love you. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to the subscriber list increasing. I'm looking forward to more subscribers that come on and say, hey, Tiffany is authentic. She kind of, she gives it how she needs to give it, and she shares the information. She's not a gatekeeper. She's really teaching us. She's breaking it down so we can understand. And we love her for that. And then you're sharing it out. You're sharing it out. You're sharing it out. Like, I'm looking at, the breakdown, and I'm looking at all of the reports and things that come out, but from YouTube and also from on Spotify. So we're also on Spotify. Let me just go ahead and put a plug in here. Okay. We're also on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, and Audible, I believe. So we're on those platforms as well. So if you're needing to listen and, really don't have time to kind of just watch, you can also listen on those platforms as well too. So share it out with your friends, and they may be at work or they may be working out or whatever they're doing. And they're like, you know what? You keep telling me about the podcast, but I just don't have time to sit down and watch it. Then they can go on those platforms and just listen to the recording. So I'm going to say that again. You don't create legacy by being perfect. You create it by being honest. Okay. Your struggles, your process, your healing. That's what people connect to. We got too many people out here trying to be Patty perfect, Peter perfect. We got too many people that's doing that. We want to get to know people that are real and raw. Now, not saying that you got to be out here telling all of your business about everything. Please use wisdom and go to God and ask God what you need to share with people, because everything is not for the public. Everything is not for everybody to know. But pray and ask God which way he wants you to go, what he wants you to share. And then be honest in what you're sharing. Don't try to hold back or try to cut it and try to polish it up to make it look good. No, just share it. Because somebody may need to know that, hey, they went through this. I'm going through this. And I'm in a stage in my life where I felt like this is never going to end. I'm never going to get out of this. Life can not be anything other than what I'm dealing with. And you come along with your story and tell them, hey, from the other side, it's good over here. Yep, it's a little rugged. It's a little ghetto over there. It's a little hard, but you can make it to the other side. If I made it, you can make it. But how is someone going to know that when you're trying to show up and, yes, life has been amazing. And, I've had a share of challenges, but it was just a little small thing. Like, come on now, please, just be authentic, be you. How are people going to get to know the real you if you don't show up? And then if you don't know the real you, you need to tap into that. You need to go back to God and help him to help you understand who you are. Because you really can't show up as who you really are if you don't know who you are. And that's the thing. People are trying to mask being behind being perfect by saying, "Oh, everything is well put together," because they don't really know who they are. So they can't come before you. because they don't know who they are. What are they going to tell you? They can't tell you about stuff they're not willing to deal with. They can't tell you about stuff that they're not willing to heal from. They can't tell you about stuff that they're not willing to be honest about. They can't tell you about stuff that may hurt them, but they have to face it. So if you're not ready to understand and learn the real you, and that means allowing God to open you up and say, hey, this is why you're doing this. This is what's connected to you over here and why you're doing this, so that you can truly be healed and truly show up in the earth as the real you. If you're trying to walk around here with this mask of being perfect, then it ain't, nope, it ain't gonna work for you. You can't show up and be authentic in this world. You'll show up as being one of them fake real people. The people that kind of keep telling everybody, oh, I'm real, I'm 100, I keep it 100. Well, if you do that, you don't have to keep telling me that. Just do it. You don't have to keep telling me, I'm going to keep it 100, I keep it 100, I keep it 100. No, you're trying to convince yourself that you keep it 100. You're not keeping it 100. If you have to constantly tell somebody that you're keeping it 100, you're not keeping it 100. You trying to program it in your mind that you the keep it 100 person, so you don't forget. Because if you are real with yourself, keeping it 100 comes natural, because that's what you do every day. And you're not keeping it 100 and being real in a nasty, condescending way. You're being honest to say, hey, this is where I am. This is what happened to me. This is what I endured. This is the decisions that I made that kind of cost me some things in my life. And this is how I made it through it. Even when you're like, there are places in my life right now, I ain't there yet. I ain't there yet, but I'm getting there. When it came to book publishing, I didn't know everything. I do not have a degree in liberal arts and in literary writing and creative writing and all of that. I didn't go to school for that. I went to school for business administration. I was trying to be somebody's HR manager in somebody's Fortune 500 company. Okay. Telling my assistant, hold all calls because I'm going to lunch. Little long lunch. That was my goal. Corporate America, girl. That's what I was planning to do. And God said otherwise. And even on this podcast, I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, I am the guru of everything and I know it all and none of them other people know anything. No, I'm learning from other people so that I can come and share it with you. And I will be real enough to say, hey, I learned this from, and let me share this with you. And then I will ask God, hey, take me deeper into understanding. Give me something that they may not be sharing so that I can share more with you. Not to make me seem as a know-it-all, but so that we can connect on the level that we're learning together. Sometimes that's what it takes. It's for you to feel like we are learning together, and we are learning together. Now, there are some things that I'm going to come on here and I am going to be the subject matter expert, and I am the one who knows the information, but I'm going to help you know it as well. I'm going to help you leave this podcast episode with confidence, with all of knowing that you have all the tools and resources that you need to do what you need to do. And if that means that I have to come on here and be authentic within myself, then I am also going to do that. And I want you to also learn to be authentic within yourself as well, too. I have to be real. I have to be honest. I can't tell you to do it and then I don't do it myself. How does that work? I know y'all see a lot of people that tell y'all to do as I say and not as I do. That ain't me. Because that's a hypocrite to me. And I ain't trying to be no hypocrite. I ain't trying to be fake. I ain't got time to be phony. We finna be real over here. So show up as your authentic self. Vulnerability is how your story becomes someone else's survival guide. We always saying that we need somebody to help us along the way, to pass the baton, to pass down the instructions, to guide us through a valley, or through this journey and down a road that we don't know anything about. But if I've been halfway down the road and I'm looking at you come, why not would I send back the information to you in a real way so that you can keep coming further, that you won't stay stuck where you are? I tell my clients every day, especially the ones that are struggling with their book, they're like, I can't do this because I don't want so and so to feel this way about me. I don't want so and so to think this way about me or be mad at me. So what? Who cares about them being mad at you? They gonna be mad at you about the experience that you had of them. That ain't your problem. That's not your problem. Tell them to take it up with God. Tell them to take all of their feelings and that anger up to God and ask God, can you help me with this? But don't dumb down your story because you don't want to affect mama and them, grandmama and them, auntie and them, daddy and them. Oh, okay. Well, they did what they did. They ain't perfect. You experience them how you experience them. Whatever happened, happened. But you're sharing it out with the world so somebody can know that they can survive too. Somebody can know that they don't have to stay in domestic violence. Somebody can know that they don't have to stay silent and they was molested. Somebody has to know that they don't have to stay in the projects, that they can literally level up and understand finances and understand credit and understand everything they need to know to come out of a place of surviving to thriving, even though everybody else feeling like the projects is as far as they can go. Let your vulnerability in your story be a survival guide for somebody else. We always talking about we want to reach back to help somebody else. Well, that's what your book is going to do, is reach back to help somebody else. But you have to know that you can reach back to help somebody else. If you continue to think that you can't because you too busy worried about what somebody else going to say about your story, then yeah, I'm gonna say it real raw because I'm finna be up. Shut up talking about that you're gonna be an author. Shut up talking about that you writing a book. Shut up and talking about in these different author communities and stuff that you finna put your book and stuff. Shut up talking about all of that. Cause you ain't talking about nothing. You just trying to get somebody to validate you. And if you're trying to do that, if you're not going to do what God told you to do and all you're trying to do is get validation, then you don't need to do none of it. You need to go back to sit at the feet of Jesus and ask them to heal your heart and get that insecurity out of you and whatever you're lacking that's causing you to just want to say you're going to do a thing to be validated by others. Because if you're going to fear men in their faces, then you need to sit down and let the real kingdom scribe stand up. Okay? So, next, you want to, yeah, I came off my soapbox. Okay. So, talking point 6 is preserve it in community. So, don't keep the message trapped inside the book. Teach it. Build a mentorship group. Start a movement. Invite your children or mentees to carry the message further. Legacy multiplies when it is passed down on purpose. So it multiplies, it multiplies, it multiplies, it multiplies. But you have to pass it down. So you can teach it, you can build a mentorship group, you can start a movement, you can invite people in that are saying, hey, I am interested in what you're saying. And people that are coming in and saying, I want to connect with you because I want to help you take your message further. Invite those people in, help them, allow them to help you build legacy. Allow them to help you be fruitful and multiply. Don't be trying to be a hoarder and say, no, I don't want nobody touching my stuff. No. Release it and let God do what he needs to do. And then if you praying like I tell y'all to pray and connect with him before you even do anything, You won't be fearful of what you're doing because God would already told you where you need to go and who you need to connect with. So don't worry about that, okay? And then our last point 7, completion. Keep it in circulation. Reintroduce your book every few years. Add a new foreword. Oh, that's good. I know. God gave it to me. Add a new foreword. Teach it in a workshop. Reference it in the sermons. Keep it visible. A legacy fades when a book goes silent. Keep your speaking. Keep speaking, keep speaking, keep speaking, keep speaking. Keep allowing your book to speak. We just released an episode last week talking about reintroducing your book. Reintroduce your book. Put a new forward in it. Revise it. Add something to it. You don't have to go back and rewrite the whole book. You can revise it and add something to it. The marriage conversation with God. I have a journal that's going to come out. So I'm going to be getting that printed. And that's going to add in addition to that. So that way you can read the book and you can write down, because I'm asking some questions in that book that I'm asking people to write down and to think about. And that way they can take notes. So then now when I promote the book, I can promote it with the journal saying, hey, go through this book, write down what God is saying to you. Write down what you are learning when it comes to marriage. Write down the revelations that you're having. Write down what God is revealing to you when it comes to these different topics in this book, like power of agreement. What does that look like in your marriage? Write that stuff down. So you can reintroduce your book. You can add new products to it. You can turn it into a lesson plan. Whatever God tells you to do and how he tells you to do it, so that your legacy continue to live on. We are not kingdom scribes just for now. We are kingdom scribes for forever. Because everything that God has us to do lasts forever. He sustains us. He makes our name great. He positions us where we need to be. He connects us to who we need to be connected to. And for all of it, he gets the glory. He is the one who helps us to leave legacy. So let him do it. And let him use what he has put in you to do it. So here's a reminder, Kingdom author. Your book is more than a project. It's a prophetic gift, a seed, a legacy. Let's treat it like one. Now, if this episode blessed you, share it with another writer. Don't hoard the information, people. And if you're ready to take your manuscript, if you're ready to take your book from manuscript to movement, then I want you to go to mvpublishingco.com to get started. On the website, it has all of the information there to help you get started on publishing your book. We provide all exclusive VIP book publishing services for you to be able to publish your book, as well as children's books as well. We have a new publishing company for children's books called Kingdom Kids. And so you can go on the website and you can check out all of the information pertaining to the book publishing services. So until next time, I want you to keep writing, keep speaking, and remember, your story was never meant to end with you, okay? Your story was never meant to end with you. Be blessed. Love you and mean it.